Okay, hello everyone. My name is Damian Kevitt. I'm the Executive Director of Streets Are For Everyone. I am also a victim of traffic violence in 2013, where I lost my leg and nearly my life cycling in Griffith Park when I was hit and pinned underneath the car and dragged nearly a quarter of a mile. I want to start this off by talking about some numbers. We're going to go through some stats and why we're here today, and then we have a number of speakers who are going to be speaking. They will all have about 1 to 2 minutes to speak, and then we're going to close with a little montage. So let me start with this. 4,524. That is the number of people killed in California in 2022, which is the last number that's been fully verified by the federal government. 25% of those fatalities, 25% of those fatalities was caused by speeding, which is the single largest factor for collisions, serious injuries, and fatalities in the state of California. That equals 1,144 fatalities due to speeding alone in 1 year. In Los Angeles, where we are right now, that was 336 fatalities in 2023, the highest record of traffic fatalities in almost 50 years. Single largest factor? Speeding. Over 37% of all collisions in Los Angeles were due to speeding. Now, as sad as this sounds, some people will say, well, and I've heard them say this, I'm not making this up, people will say, well, 4,500 lives lost. It's a state of 30 million people, no big deal, right? Not a big deal, 4,500, that's a drop in the bucket. Try telling that to someone who's lost their sister, their brother, their daughter, their parents, or their best friend to traffic violence. The pain of that loss is unimaginable, and never fully goes away. But you know what? Let's take a look at that argument. Let's say those people who don't care about lives lost, that's not that big a deal. Let's look at the bigger picture. In 2022, there were 228,000 people who were injured or killed just in the state of California due to traffic violence. That's nearly 250,000 people in 1 year injured or killed. Single biggest factor? Speeding. Over 76,000 people injured or killed due to speeding-related collisions. So, let's admit it. Let's call a spade a spade. There are a lot of people in this state that are hooked on speed. Some love it and flaunt it. Street racers, street takeovers, people you see on the freeways. Some are addicted and in denial, and some don't even realize they are hooked, but they are regular users. Senate Bill 961 and Senate Bill 1509 would help to break that addiction on speeding and save lives. Now, where there's an addiction, it often means there's someone who's pushing it, who's making money off of that addiction. Anyone want to guess who's making money off of people's addiction to speed? Anyone? Auto industry. That's right. The auto industry, the speed sells cars, and they know it. Look at all the car commercials. What do they talk about? How powerful their cars are, how fast it goes from 0 to 60. Are we shocked that these bills, especially 961, are specifically opposed by the auto industry? Are we shocked by that? No. That's right. Both of these bills are important, 1509 and 961, but let me focus on 961. Senate Bill 961 would require that all cars sold starting in 2030 would have a standard feature, a simple warning, a simple beep, and visual warning that you are now traveling at over 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. A single beep. That's what 961 would require. Letting drivers know that they are now speeding. A stricter version of this technology is already required in Europe. It's already being done in Europe. And it's already an optional feature sold as part of cars that are being sold right now in the US by 18 auto manufacturers. 18 auto manufacturers already provide this as an optional feature on some of their vehicles. This is not new technology. This is not untried. This has been around for a long time. Toyota, in fact, starting the next auto year, is all of their vehicles will have this as a standard feature on all of their vehicles. Does this feature make a difference? Yes, it does. Per the National Transportation Safety Board study, this technology was found to reduce speeding by as much as 28%. And we know that speed kills. So this will save lives. Now, I've heard people say that this legislation, 961, will take away people's rights. Can you believe that? Can you believe that people are saying, it will take away their rights? And what I say, what are you talking about? You know what? If you're one of those people that's so addicted to speed that you choose to recklessly speed whenever you can, then a little beep and a little warning isn't going to stop you from speeding. But let's bring this into perspective. What about the people who has a right to life? The people in this state who want to live. That's a right, isn't it? Isn't there a thing called right to life? What about those people? What about the 228,000 people that were injured or killed in the state of California? What about their rights? They have rights too. And you know what? This argument about this technology taking away people's rights is so old, it's honestly kind of limp. I mean, this is the same argument that was said about seatbelts in the 1970s. Did you know that was the same argument? It would take away their right to enjoy their vehicle without driving with a seatbelt on, driving without a seatbelt on. It's the same argument said about DUIs. People had the right to drive drunk. It was the same argument in the 1980s. Are we really going back to that logic? So that said, as a victim of traffic violence, as an advocate for safer roads, as a son, as a brother, as a husband, and as a Californian, I am calling on Governor Newsom to stand up to the auto industry and to other vested interests and sign Senate Bill 961 and Senate Bill 1509 into law. Thank you. Next, we're going to have Lily Trujillo with Street Racing Kills.
Thank you. All right. Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for the media and Streets Forever for having us here today. This is my daughter, Valentina D'Alessandro. Valentina was killed in December 7, 2013. And you would think, yeah, that was 10 years ago. Well, 10 years ago is nothing for me as her mother. And she was killed by a young man that decided to go over 85 miles an hour while giving her a ride home. That's when I realized about traffic violence. And that's when I realized how important it is for us to have these bills, 961 and 1509. And 961 is nothing what we're asking for to prevent someone from dying. This is a life-saving bill. One of the things that I do to keep my daughter close to me is actually ordering her coroner's report. After 10 years, I decided to order it because I want to see again and again, ask myself what killed her, and I'm reminded that it was speed. And this is the only thing that keeps me close to her, just to see her injuries and everything that she suffered before she died when I was not there to save her life. This bill is a life-saving bill. So I ask you, please, Governor Newsom, to please sign this bill. It will save lives and honoring a parent from losing a child, a family member from losing anyone due to speed. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Cindy Enamorado, and I am sister to Raymond Steven Olivares, a 27-year-old civil engineer who lost his life simply crossing the street. Raymond was struck by a vehicle traveling at excessive speed as he was crossing the street with his fiancée, a LAUSD teacher. I am constantly reminded, almost every night, of the suffering my brother went through that night. His remains were scattered for a stretch of 1.5 miles at impact. He lost a leg because the vehicle was traveling so fast, exceeding the posted speed limit. This young man stated that he had no idea he was traveling at excessive speed. This technology would have been able to let him know, warn him that he was not driving under the conditions the residential street was meant for. I asked Governor Newsom to please sign SB 961 and 1509. We depend on it. Side with the people you represent. Please sign with the people you represent and not with the automobile industry. We need you. This will save lives. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Laura Aguimedo. I am the Outreach and Community Relations Director for Street Racing Kills. I didn't choose to be an advocate. Bethany Holguin, my 23-year-old niece, was killed by a young man that was street racing. This young man killed my niece the day before Mother's Day. And on Mother's Day, my family was notified that she had lost her life and that my nephew was in critical condition. I never thought in a million years that I would have to plan a funeral for my 23-year-old niece. I never thought that I would have to identify her body at the coroner's office. I never thought that I would spend Mother's Day telling her daughter that her mother is never coming home and praying that I don't bury both my niece and my nephew. I never knew what it was like to have to decide what I'm gonna put on her gravestone and what I'm gonna tell her in her obituary as my last goodbye to her. Bethany Holguin was not just another number. She was a mother, she was my niece, she was a granddaughter, she was my sister's daughter. No mother should ever have to bury their child. I'm here today because Governor Newsom, Senate Bill 961 and Senate Bill 1509 will save lives. I cannot bring Bethany back, but I can save another family from going through the same agonizing pain of burying somebody to something that's 100% preventable, speeding. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Governor Newsom, here we are again. We're here again, and we're asking for you to help us again. I'm Pastor Patricia Strong Fargus, co-chair of Faith for Safer Streets. Here I hold in my hand two victims of speed, Felipe, good friend Trina, and just the other week, another community person, Keisha, on Central Avenue. How many more, Governor? How many speeding bills? Well, we have the answer to you. SB 1509 and SB 961. See, I've learned that pastoring and church is about saving people, making lives better. I also learned, Governor Newsom, that when we put you in office, your job is to make the citizenry of California a better life, a safer life, and a life for many individuals. How many more do we have to bury? How many more ghost tires? How many more? Don't be scared. Fight the industry. Fight by signing SB 961 and SB 1509. We need you today to step up and do your job. Here we are again. Let's do it, Governor Newsom. Let's do it. Thank you.
My name is Becky. Thanks. My name is Becky Hartung, and I'm here representing Streets for All, who is a sponsor of SB 961. On October 17th, 2023, I was driving on to the Pepperdine Malibu campus for the first time in over a year. I was covering for a another teacher's maternity leave, and so I was joining to teach public speaking mid-semester. My 6 p.m. class ended a little bit early, and after the students trickled out of the room around 7:45 p.m., I called my husband on my way to my car to make my drive home. He knew I was nervous about either option I had to get back to my home in Pasadena, either Malibu Canyon Road or PCH. I called him, sat in my car for a little while because I was nervous about the drive I was about to make, and I decided I was going to take PCH home. I stopped for food on past Malibu Pier, and kept driving around the corner known as Dead Man's Curve around 8:15. Around 15 minutes later, 4 Pepperdine students lost their lives on that curve. And for the entire semester, we had to deal as faculty members with a grieving campus and a city and state who did so little to help those who were hurt and who were killed on that road. I had to drive on that street for the rest of every Tuesday and Thursday for the rest of the semester. And I would grip the steering wheel, white-knuckled, as cars around me were still speeding 10, 20, 30 miles over the speed limit as if death was not still in the air. I was actually offered another teaching position there this past semester, and I said no because I didn't want to make the drive anymore. I was too scared to be on those roads. In my public speaking class, the final speech I would have them give is a special celebration or a special occasion speech. They could do honoring a loved one or talking about their retirement and even give a eulogy. That semester, I stopped having them give eulogies. I turned the news on Sunday and I watched 2 former students eulogizing their best friends and their sorority sisters, and I knew I could never ask a student to do a eulogy in a class again. Every night that I left that campus, I just wanted to make it home. And speeding and traffic violence is a threat to all of us and all of our abilities to make it home. According to Caltrans, 34% of traffic fatalities, are related to speeding and aggressive driving. Governor Newsom, you have a choice. You can continue to turn your head and believe the illusion that speeding and traffic violence will always be inevitable in California. Or you can face the harsh reality that even one life lost is too many, and you must do everything in your power to make sure we all can get home safely. I urge your support, Governor Newsom, to sign these 2 Senate bills. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaac Martinez. I'm a member of Carlight Long Beach. As a commercial truck driver, I've experienced experimental road safety measures implemented by my company to keep their insurance costs down. Driver-facing cameras, lane drift detectors, F-cam, all technologies that, although annoying at first, have had the intended effect of making me a safer driver. As a commercial truck driver, I already have an alarm that notifies me when I'm going over the speed limit. Many other professional drivers also experience similar monitoring systems. The only danger that comes from this alarm is that I have to stay at the speed limit while everyone else races around me. So if all cars had this warning alarm, then the majority of drivers will stay at the limit, and the intended purpose of this bill will have been achieved, slowing down traffic. There's no good reason for opposing this bill. Like we mentioned, it's the same arguments for DUI and for safety belts. Do we want to inconvenience drivers for breaking the law, or do we want to save lives by slowing down traffic? In my 10-year career as a driver, I've seen too many wrecks and too many lives lost on the highway, where speed was the primary fatal factor. Governor Newsom, it couldn't be easier for you to knock this out of the park. We at Carlight Long Beach ask you to sign these 2 bills into law. Thank you.
I want to just offer if the media would like to ask any questions, and then we're going to bring this to a close by asking everyone to personally ask Governor Newsom. So are there any questions? Yes. We have strong reason to believe that he will sign these bills. We also know that there's a lot of opposition from the auto industry, and the auto industry has a lot of weight, and they have a lot of money, and money talks. And right now, we're trying to make it so that lives matter more than money. So this is a bill that, both of these bills are bills that are easily signable. They have been gone through the entire legislature. They are signed off by everyone. They are passed with a strong majority of, or in some cases, everyone has signed off on, at some points, these particular bills. Does that answer your question there? You're right here. You're helping us to do that. So it is part of this is to ask that everyone be part of this, to spread the word, to contact Governor Newsom personally, but also just to post it, to make sure he knows that the people care about this, that people want this particular bill. They want lives to be saved on the roads of California. The end of September. September 31st is the deadline. He either has to sign it or veto it. If he does not sign it, it automatically goes into law. That is the third option. Other questions? Good. I would like to invite each person, 10 seconds, just to personally ask Governor Newsom to sign this bill. So come on up here.
Governor Newsom, please sign this bill 961 and 1509. Please take a look at my daughter's picture. And please check this autopsy report. There's too many autopsy reports out there that someone dies from speeding every day. Thank you.
Governor Newsom, please sign these two bills. I'm a cyclist and a father, and my daughters ride their scooters to school. My younger daughter, had an incident this week where she had to stop in the middle of a crosswalk while someone blasted through the intersection. She's only 11 years old, and she weighs 70 pounds. I do not want her to be a victim. Please sign these bills, Governor Newsom.
Governor Newsom, on behalf of Bike Long Beach, Bike LA, and cyclists all over California, we're urging you to sign this bill to make sure we get home safe.
Governor Newsom, I'm a Californian. I ride a motorcycle. Every single one of your constituents has been affected by traffic violence. Please sign this bill.
Governor Newsom, my name is Alex Ramirez. I'm the Executive Director of Los Angeles Walks and a representative of Southern California Families for Safe Streets. A lot of my job requires me to sit down and listen to the stories of the victims of traffic violence. And you can do something by signing this bill. You can stop our lives from being lost on our roads. So we urge you, please, as parents, as community members, as leaders, please show up for everyone. Thank you.
Governor Newsom, this is Bethany Holguin. She is just not another number. This is a life lost because of speeding. Please sign Senate Bill 961 and 1509. Do not let this happen to another family. Thank you.
Governor Newsom, I am a pedestrian, a cyclist, and a driver, and I urge you to sign this bill. Please put people's safety over cars. Thank you.
Governor Newsom, Jim Shamman from Culver City. We know that traffic violence is the #1 cause of accidental death among children. We know that speed is the major factor in those deaths. We know that speed kills, but your signature can save lives. Sign the bills now. Thank you.
Governor Newsom, my name is Jonah Canner. I'm a volunteer in Pasadena, California. I'm also the father of a 13-year-old boy who rides his bike to school. As a parent, as an advocate, as a person who's on our streets every day, please help keep our streets safe. Please limit deadly speeding. Please sign this bill.
Governor Newsom, here I am again, Pastor Pat. We depend on you to help us save lives. Stop the speeding. Sign the bill. Thank you.
Governor Newsom, I'm Aziza King, and please sign the bills. I lost my only child, my son, and his girlfriend by a DUI driver evading police on April 28, 2021. Please help keep our streets safe. Governor Newsom, please sign the bill. Thank you.